And here's the group on our first stop of UFO Tour. John Foster is the man in the black shirt standing by the van. We're at our first location, Unity Church of Omaha, 3424 North 90th Street, home of the project and what John was told as the technology center for an educational project. And a side view of the building right on North 90th Street.
Landed north of is Continental Forest, north of Omaha, or north of Florence.
There's actually two parts to it. There's a Neil Woods, north, and
Okay.
then
What would be
Are
Neil
you
Woods?
thinking,
We landed north of Neil Woods.
Forest Lawn Cemetery.
We landed north of Neil Woods, way up north of Florence, and we got in the craft, and you guys, some of you were there, probably inside the craft. And it's a long story. Read chapter 13 if you want the details. Anyway, we flew to the Mormon Bridge that we were told about, the fact that the interstate would be built in the future. We stopped off at the old mill, and there was a couple old houses they were going to destroy and build a firehouse. And they told us more about the old mill and the Mormons, and we got in the craft, flew to 72nd and what is now I-80, and shown the interchange, and they told us about the benefits of interstate interchanges. We went north to the missile site, and we saw the installation in the future of the organizations that were helping the more unfortunate people. We got in, we hovered there for a while, and they told us about the lake and recreation area just west of there, which is
Cunningham.
what is it?
Cunningham.
Cunningham Lake. By the way, I had a few encounters at Cunningham Lake at other times. And then we flew over that long curve that was in the 680. And this was in the future because that hadn't been built yet, but we were there. I saw it. And it was explained to me in extreme detail in formulas of calculus how you design a curve in an interstate highway. And I couldn't figure out why in the world they would tell me that. And then we hovered, we went and we hovered for a time change just up the road here. And then we came and we landed right over there somewhere, and we were told to get out. Now June and Gary and Quade and who we knew as Shauna and Augie, and of course those were the main characters, at least at that time, and then some of you might have been there, I don't know. Anyway, we were told to get out, and we landed and we were told to get out. And as we landed, when we got out, we noticed that the elongated saucer had changed forms. And for those of you who have a hard time believing that that could happen, you need to read Eric Julian's The Science of Extraterrestrials. That sort of thing, you'll understand that actually can happen. Anyway, the elongated saucer changed into the form of the booth, the large booth. And the windows and doors were closed, and there was a red light on the side of the booth. They said when we would not be allowed to get back in until the green light went on, or the light changed to green. Then we were given a tour of this area, and we were told about the Mormons, and we were shown the Mormon Trail, which comes down the hill right there and goes through this area. And if you walk back in there, it's a no trespassing sign, but there's a little steel bridge there, or what used to be, and we were told that that was part of the Mormon Trail. The bridge wasn't there, but the Mormon Trail went right through there. And we saw that during this time travel. And when I brought Bob Teeds back to show him this particular spot, we saw the small steel bridge, and it freaked me out. Anyway, there's a big tree there, and my friend and I were standing there, and June and Augie came walking by with children, and they were orphans, and we were explaining that June would take care of orphans, and that Augie was involved in the teaching of the orphans. And came to a tree. I was shown a tree, and I was explained certain things about the tree that only Alan and I know. And I did an out-of-body thing or whatever, and hovered above the tree in one of the TP objects, and you guys came up in the elongated saucer. It was explained that we had to meditate and pray to receive the correct information about what we were to do, okay? For an engineer, me, that was weird, really weird, to realize and accept that that really happened.
Because there's no other instruction besides just meditate, as if you know how to do that?
At that particular time, it was just emphasizing that you've got to meditate, you've got to make contact, okay? There were other experiences that told me they were here to help humankind, and they couldn't do it unless we made mental or spiritual contact with them and received the information through what is similar to ESP. And even when I was a younger kid, I was told to practice ESP so that I could. And I was raised in a very common way, and I was in engineering, and this was all just very difficult for me to handle. Anyway, we were shown, and at one point we were shown the school that's up here. There's a school on the hill. You guys know about that school?
Northwest?
We were told that school would be built in the future. And we were shown this field here, and then we were told how the Mormons and the pioneers farmed that field for subsistence. And there was a farm and a farmer and his son that were bringing the horses in from the field. So we were visiting the past at that particular episode. And then there was a guy that was standing at an old foundation of stone, and he said that this was a house that was where a couple lived that were interested in adopting orphans. And then he explained their daughter would also be interested in adopting orphans, and there was a time change manifestation, which was distorted atmosphere and fog and haze, and a house appeared, and to the window came June and some of the orphans, and we were asked to go into the house and see the house from the inside. So we went in, and we noticed all the features of the house inside, which seemed kind of stupid to me, because why would I be interested in the inside of a house? Well, we went out, and then several other things happened. We got back into the we were told to go up on the hill, and that the orphans were waiting for us on the hill to go on a trip. So we did that, and we went off towards the land, actually, and we were eventually shown the land and the building, and we're told several other things. All those details are in chapter 13.